What if they had
photos.
like an awesome clown or something at the party?
It's like, does the clown come with the listing?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
That's such a trope to real estate is you take the photograph the one time once and that is your real estate
Yeah, this is
photograph.
like from the, so what's your number one piece of advice that you might give a home seller when it comes to getting their house ready for the market and actually marketing their home?
Welcome to the TNT Real Estate Podcast, where we spark conversations that set you up for real estate success. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Tanya, and each week we bring you expert tips on navigating Northern Ontario's real estate market. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, we've got the tools to help you thrive. Welcome back to the TNT Podcast, where we unpack real estate trends with a northern lens. Today, I am joined by Sutton Benchmark Realty's very own Kevin Belanger.
Hello.
Kevin has been in the real estate industry for almost 10 years now. So thank you so much for joining me today at the podcast.
It's a pleasure to be back. Thanks again for having me.
Awesome. So today we're going to be talking about photography, staging, getting listings ready for sale. Kevin, because you've been in the business for so long now, 10 years, do you think that photography really matters?
It's funny. I know we're going to be talking about listing photography, but it's just funny you say that. It's 9 years and a bit now. We're coming up on, you know what's really good at reminding you've been in the industry for a while? The social medias.
Yeah.
They do those memory things, and it wasn't so very long ago that it said, hey, do you remember this? And it was the very first picture of wee little Kevin with his way too long curly hair and stiff formal gray suit in my very first real estate picture, and I couldn't help but remark how fewer wrinkles and creases there were in my face.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's funny to see just how things change and your approach to real estate changes. And
you've changed your actual photo on your social media, so you don't look like you did 10 years ago. I remember back in the day, like when I started, sometimes you'd see people's
that's such a trope to real estate is you take the photograph the one time once and that is your real estate photograph.
This is like from the 80s or 90s. They had different hair. They looked totally different. You're like, who is that person?
Fanned out hair from the 80s. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I did change it, but Facebook memory will keep reminding me of it. So it was really as kind of a gas to go see that old photo again.
Yeah. So do you think photography works for your listings?
So I think that is oddly the most important. Accuracy in your listing description. You know, we are in charge of technical details that cannot be fudged, cannot be shortened, legal descriptions, the components of the house. We have to get that part right. But in terms of marketing, that's really at a glance what people look at. And it's not just photographs, it's the photograph of the facade of the house that takes over the cover is your ad copy, is on realtor.ca. And when people are doom scrolling, I mean, they're not swiping through all the pictures sometimes. They'll just see the cover. So having that one on point, I think, is the most crucial part of your listing.
So you think the first photo is the most important photo?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you're not capturing people with that one, beyond what you've written in the description, if they're not captivated by that photograph, the endorphins aren't running. And then there might not be a showing. There might not be an offer. Yeah.
Sometimes we have properties that are maybe a little bit more challenging. Maybe they don't show the greatest. Maybe they're not occupied by the owners, for that example. So sometimes we rely on, we can't manipulate photos. We can't change things, right? You can't take a fire hydrant out and that type of thing. That would be misrepresentation. But in terms of properties that maybe just don't show well because it's messy, we sometimes do virtual staging. So what are your thoughts on virtual staging?
Okay. Yeah. It's funny because I know you and I actually, we have different views on virtual staging. And my thinking has come around a little bit, but initially didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. I thought it was absolutely just over putting too high a gloss, because a lot of these software packages that put the furniture into these photos, they also throw a filter over it. So, I mean, you can't see cracks, the fading of the flooring anymore because everything's highly stylized. I'm sure the software has gotten better, but it would originally put a couch so thin you'd have to be like up on point toes to sit in it. So if your concept is to put in digital furniture to help people see the dimensions of the room, but these couches
They're off scale.
are put in dimensions that don't exist in real life, you're very much doing your client and your listing a disservice, right?
Yeah.
So I don't like them. I think it unclutters. I'd rather see a vacant room because then you're seeing it for what it is. And imagine if you're seeing vacant photography in a listing, you know the house is vacant, so it might speak to people who want to quit closing. You say, hey, look, they don't have to move out a room full of furniture. That's perfect. What we're looking for is a vacant, quick close scenario. So it's not necessarily always bad to have it vacant. But in the defense of virtual staging, I'll say this. There's something that I see you do on your listings. You'll put the virtually staged photograph, and then immediately after, you'll put the original, the raw photograph. And I find that kind of mitigates all the qualms I had with it. Everything I said that, I really don't like virtual staging, that sort of clears it up because I do get what I want after.
Yeah.
Right?
I find some of my buyers, they just get so in love with the virtual staging of a property. They'll look at it online and say, I really want to go see this. And then I have to break it down to them. Okay, first of all, this is virtually staged. Look at the flooring below that. That's, tile in the living room or something. All these things that people look past when they see pretty furniture in the photos, but once they go there, it's a different story.
Real staging works so well, though. It is kind of amazing. So many times I've been helping buyers. We'll tour through homes, and it is, even though I'm the professional and I tell people we need to do this, it's hard not to. It's hard not to get captivated by people's stuff when they have extremely gorgeous furniture. I've even said that when I was looking for a place of my own. I said, "Wow, this place is so nice." Once I get my furniture,
it's not going to look as good.
There's no way they've got this like carved, ornate, four-poster bed. Yeah, exactly. So, and I've told clients that too. I'm like, just bear in mind, I think you might be loving this place because it's staged so well.
Yeah.
So when you're tallying up the end of your day and saying, I love this house was mid, I'd never do this one, just try to bear in mind that we all know we're being influenced by this. And I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing, just make sure you're aware of that influence it's having, right?
Sometimes I find it's important to have either live staging or virtual staging because people just get so confused. They don't understand, how would I use this space? Especially when you see basements with like odd pillars and then a fireplace over here and a little nook over there. I find buyers can have a hard time just envisioning, how would I use this? So that's where I find staging works the most. But
yeah, see, there's a lifestyle staging where you're trying to make it look pretty. I take your point, the technical staging, because I've used a couple cheap tricks as well. 2 air mattresses inflated with a fitted sheet and a pillow. And I know it doesn't look pretty, but the point is not to make it look pretty.
That you can fit a bed here?
It's that now here's what a queen size bed looks like. Yeah. So it's not so much about dressing the room up, it's about showing people the use of the room, the practicality of the room. Yeah. So kind of a difference there between lifestyle staging and practical staging.
Yeah, okay. So what are some of your other pet peeves about photography or marketing or things that you see in listings?
So there's a couple. There's a couple easy ones, and I know you all at home are saying the toilet seat, and of course that's the first one. Yeah. Flush and put down the toilet seat. It bears repeating. Flush and put down the toilet seat. Both are important. Another one that really bugs me, I can't imagine why people leave their television on for a photograph. It's so glaring and it takes so much focus. Yeah.
It's like The Price is Right is on the background, or
yeah, absolutely. You got that daytime TV, and there's one thing that's hard to get away from is when your reflection is in the mirror. Mirrors can be hard, and especially bathrooms are very, very hard.
Oh yeah, you catch the realtors in the photos all the time.
If it's in a mirror, that's fine, but that's another one of my pet peeves. Pets are one of my pet peeves. They should not be in the photograph at all. Yeah. Nor should humans. I've even had someone say, "Here's some old photos of the pool. This is at your birthday's pool party."
Oh, and there's kids and there's toys.
They're like, okay, because it's the winter, we want to show off the pool. Here's some photos of the pool. Yeah. I'm not using your kid's 9th birthday party as my listing photographs, even though they're beautiful photos.
But what if they had like an awesome clown or something at the party?
Does the clown come with the listing? Yeah, exactly. A few other things actually as well though is, and this is on us as a realtor, and now we're allowed to put it. So many photos. There used to be a cap of, I think, 30 in our local
now
market.
It's 100. I think we have 100.
And 100, I'm going to go out and say it's probably more than you're going to need. So it's when they don't tell a story. So we know that your first photograph should be the facade of the house. Your last photograph should probably be the backyard if it has one. But make sure don't just bomb the rest, right? Have them kind of tell a story from when you open the front door, what room you go into, and kind of try to guide people
So you like it
along.
to flow sort of the layout of the house.
Yeah, otherwise people might misinterpret how big the house is or where the rooms are in relation to each other. And then I also think there should be the technical photos. Show me the gritty. Show me they're not all marketing photos.
Okay.
Show
So you
me
want to see like the furnace and the boiler?
Show me a very ugly photograph of the electrical panel. Show me a very ugly photograph of the water tank and these things, right?
Yeah. I think those are great photos to have. I always like to try to have them kind of just in my phone or in my files in case an agent asks for them, but I don't like
I can take your point. Your point. That's equally valid.
Okay, what do you think about 3D tours? So like the full Matterport tours where you can like virtually walk through a house. Do you think that's good or bad? Oops.
There's one thing I really like about that technology is that it throws out a floor plan instantly for you when you use that. And I really love listings that include a floor plan.
I like the dollhouse feature where you can kind of see it in 3D.
Yeah, the stitch ones I've seen some people have a hard time navigating them. So they get a little lost in them, but it's absolutely cool technology. The floor plan it gives you, it's cool because you can just like top down see what the house looks like.
Yeah.
But that speaks to my telling a story with the pictures. I do think it's cool because it shows you the flow. Some rooms have like weird connecting adjoining rooms. You're like, where does that nook belong, right? Yeah. It's kind of a reason I like video tours that have become pervasive in real estate marketing. Almost every listing now has like a walkthrough or a guided walkthrough. And the video camera doesn't lie like a still camera can. Like if you're walking through single shot through the house, you're going to see the flow.
Yeah.
But the problem there is you might have to scroll through the video to find what you want. So these Matterport things, you can at least hone in on your area of interest, right?
I think the Matterports are nice for home buyers who really want to like hone in on all the little details and the nitty gritty. I find it's almost too much work though to go through it. And I think it can kind of highlight the little imperfections a little bit too much. Like I think you can see the floor scratches and all those little things, the cabinets maybe a little not aligned perfectly, right? And you can hone in on those things from an armchair distance without actually going into the home and falling in love with it.
Yeah, it's funny. Maybe I like the grit.
Yeah.
When you can see the flaws in a house, because, I mean, we're talking about good photography and bad photography, and I think listings can be equally guilty from both sides of that coin. So I've gone to a showing where my clients tell me, they're like, yeah, compared to the photos, because we use like the world's like best real estate photographer and everything's highly stylized. We get there and guess what? People are let down.
Yeah, yeah.
So does that help you induce an offer?
True.
When you open the door and it's this big letdown and you have this like drop in emotions? Yeah. That's not going to help. But if not, and I've seen people take up to horrid photographs. You're like, what is it? But you know what? We're going out today. Let's just tack this one on the list. And then you get there and like, hold on, this is kind of a diamond in the rough. Yeah. I don't know what like shake and go camera they use to get these pictures ready, but this is an awesome listing, right? So,
and that's where I guess it's our job as realtors to sort of help our clients navigate what could be overly staged and overly stylized versus what might have, maybe lower quality photos, but actually show really well in person.
Yeah, you want that hashtag no filter lifestyle, right? You want truth in advertising.
Okay, sorry.
Let me put it this way. If you're swiping through Tinder and you found a profile where all they had was filtered photographs, would you swipe right on that? Or would you want to see at least one candid photograph of the person you might spend the rest of your life with?
I don't know. No comment because I'm happily married
woman. Exactly. Well, you can't just all have frog face filters and Mardi Gras filters. You want to see what you're actually going to be
what you living with for the rest of your life, just like your partner.
That's right.
Yeah. So how do you prep sellers for photos? What kind of things do you recommend they get ready from a sort of staging or getting the house ready perspective?
So, I mean, decluttering is a lot of it. Mm-hmm. That's just beyond cleaning. But, I mean, the issue is sometimes they have nowhere to put their stuff.
Right.
So, it's just more about when we're staging a house that they are still living in, there won't be any staging. I'm not bringing in more furniture. You've already got a house full. So, it's about working with the stuff they have. Mm-hmm. So, maybe take a piece or two out of the room. Certainly especially for the ad copy, you're going to want to take down all your personal photos or your like schedules or stuff like that, because it makes the house seem more impersonal, which is what you want. You want buyers to walk in and be able to imagine themselves living there. And also these photographs, they're going to be online, and in certain aspects, they survive the listing. So realtors, when we're drawing comparables, we see the old pictures of the old listings. So what the work I'm doing today might still be on the MLS in 20 years. Yeah. So we want to make sure for whatever privacy, concern, right? for your privacy concern, that your family photos and details aren't just on there on the internet forever, right? So that's a big part of it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So any final advice for sellers? So what's your number one piece of advice that you might give a home seller when it comes to getting their house ready for the market and actually marketing their home?
Yeah, so you're living, as soon as that listing goes live, you're not living in your house anymore. You're living in a museum, the Museum of You, and it opens from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day. And I know that's sometimes through the process, is that what I'm doing to people? Especially when they move and they're loading up all their stuff and they're exhausted and sweating and the U-Haul is late. And I'm just like, is that what I've been doing to people? But really, my house is sometimes lived in, and people say, Kevin, for a realtor, you clean up your house like when you've got dishes in the sink, and I say, yeah, sure.
My house isn't for sale.
Exactly. That's exactly. My house isn't for sale right now. Yeah. But when your house is for sale, you're living in a museum. Yeah. Absolutely. So you're not just putting your dirty underwear in the hamper. You're putting them away. There's no dirty clothes. There's no dirty dishes.
There's no hampers. There's no garbage cans.
You're cleaning your dogs, the dog stuff in the yard every day. So you kind of have to be prepared. Yeah. And you know what, I'm going to say another thing, because a lot of us have Ring cameras and Blink cameras and baby monitors, and it's becoming more and more common. The sellers are dialed into the process of what a showing looks like. It used to be that private space between the buyer's rep and the buyer, but so often now there are recording devices.
Yeah, what do you think of that?
It's your house. To be honest, we're invited guests into your house, and we shouldn't be saying anything untoward in your house anyways. I think you have every right to protect your assets. A little weird if you're going to spy on the showing, but that is exactly what I was going to speak to. Be prepared to be insulted. Yeah, man, your house isn't going to be for everybody. Yeah. And that buyer agent is trying to build rapport with this client. He might not think that this house is right for his client because it's overpriced. There's too much competition. It's not the right area. They might talk down your house.
For their client.
Exactly.
Not for you. Not to insult you.
Exactly. It's not to insult you. Again, you've taken all your photographs off the wall, so they have no idea who you are anyways. But that's the point. If you're going to dial in, be ready to be insulted and be fine with it. Just don't get offended by it. It might happen. Let it roll off your back. That's part of the process, and your journey isn't their journey. So just,
Yeah. That's really great advice. I appreciate that. Sometimes I give my clients the advice, or I ask them, do you want the feedback or you don't want the feedback? So you'll know right there whether or not they can take it or whether they just want sort of the sanitized version of the feedback.
I've had, as a buyer, I've sent feedback to an agent, and one time they called me back and they said, well, that's mean of you. Oh. Why would you say something so mean about the house? And I said, because I'm telling you what my client's thoughts were. But I think that's the thing about it. The feedback inherently should be negative.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing. What didn't you like about this house such that you didn't buy it?
You didn't make an offer, right?
Right? And be as brutally honest as you can. That it gives me a chance to correct or at least understand. Exactly. So, I mean, you don't have to be overtly mean, but I think there's a truth to that. The feedback should be inherently negative.
Also, the characters that you can use on the feedback forms are limited, so you can't be always so eloquent in your delivery of the negative feedback.
I used to have an acronym for thank you for letting me show. I conduced it for a TY, for a TF, whatever. Yeah. Thank you for letting me show, because it wasn't enough words to get it all in.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Kevin. I think the advice has been excellent for all of our sellers, home sellers, and people getting on the market.
Oh, thanks. It's always a blast to be on TNT.
Thanks for tuning into the TNT Podcast. If you've enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to leave us a comment, subscribe, and share with a friend who might be interested in real estate.
We'll catch you next time, and until then, stay ahead in real estate.